Hello. I am planning on reading my first children's book today. It takes about 10 minutes or so to read out loud. I did it the other day and I think I want to do it again. Because the point of this stream is to help me get my children's book published. I wrote this book in college. Let's see. I went to college starting in 2009, and it was probably about 2009, 2010 when I wrote it, the first book of this series. And so you can see how long it's been since I wrote it. And it's been a dream of mine to get it published for a long time now. I guess we're going on almost 15 years. So purpose of this stream is to get help, see if there's people out there who have an ear, an eye, I don't know, any help out there for any advice, especially illustration. A lot of places, they like to do their own illustration, but who knows, maybe I could go a different way. But what's been really helpful for me is reading the book out loud. Like I said, I did it the other day. I want to do that again. Take notes while I'm doing it, and probably I have about 6 books of a series, and go through each of those and then kind of go back and rework each book. And as I'm going, probably think about what the characters really look like, what this world looks like. So this is called Zoe's Life in Zoomington. It's a series that follows Zoe Mizzy-Meyer. And basically why I wanted to write this is it's a very imaginative book. That's something I always liked growing up. And then my background, I'm a registered dietitian and have my master's in public health. And I figured I wanted this to be a way I could sprinkle in health and wellness without being in the face of whoever's reading this about it. So each book is very quirky, it's fun, lots of colors, and then I might sprinkle in what they're eating, and it's maybe a more balanced meal, or the kids are doing activities, like physical activities, or just about balance in life, trying again. I think I don't have this yet, but I'd like to include a book about maybe just being anxious, because I definitely had anxiety as a kid, still have it, but especially as a kid that I didn't know, and just maybe tips and tricks to help. And really, it's not just for kids. If the adult is reading this and finds something good out of it, that's wonderful. So yeah, this is what the purpose of this stream is, to really get serious. I love watching streams. I love watching YouTube. My husband and I, it's like a hobby of ours anymore. So doing this, seeing if maybe there's help out there. I know there is help out there, so please feel free to help out. So I'm still new at this. I am going to try to share my screen. Let me see. I gotta make sure I do some stuff. Before I share this. Hopefully it's not sharing just yet. Well, what I might do for this time is I'm just gonna read the story. So the stream will be just a lot of me, and then I will read the story without sharing it. Probably is helpful to be able to see it, though, huh? Well. I know it's had issues in the past with being able to see it anyways. Let me pull up my notepad too. I gotta take some notes while I'm doing this. I think I have another idea. Got one more idea that I'm going to try. I think this is the good idea. Okay, I can do this. Nope. Yes. I'm doing it. We're doing it. We got this. Okay. I got Google Docs. Google Docs is going to help me out right now with making sure I don't share too much, like our address, because that's probably not good. Okay. We're doing it. We got it. Gotta erase a little bit. Now I can share. Exit out of this. Gotta make this bigger for the people. You know, whenever somebody's sharing their screen and it's tiny and you're just trying to view it. Okay, now let's do it. Let's do it. Nope. Yep, I clicked the right thing. We're gonna screen share. Let me change. Let me figure this out. I think I did it. That's exciting. Ah, that is fabulous. Yay. Okay. Zoe's life in Zoomington. So I'm going to be taking some notes. I already have some notes, but I want to keep taking them. I want to read through it. And also, I did send this to an editor a few years ago. And something that this editor said was, I want to see it. So I think what she meant was illustrations, but I see when I read this out loud the other day, I kind of was seeing what she was saying. There's probably too many descriptions at times, but I also really want to keep it very descriptive. One, for different ability levels, that's something I always like to keep in mind. There are kids who might not be able to see. And so listening to stories, giving them that very detailed description so that they can really use their imaginations, and just giving kids that chance to use their imaginations if perhaps they're listening to it and not looking at any pictures at that time. Okay, so this is the first book of my series that I've titled Zoe's Life in Zoomington. Zoe Mizzymeyer lives in a colorful town named Zoomington. Zoomington is a town quite unlike any town that you or I might live in. In Zoomington, the kids don't walk to school, they skip to school. In fact, parents sometimes skip with their kids. At school, instead of students sitting at desk with a teacher, the students sit on pillows, and old wise men teach the children wise sayings, such as, always say please and get your Z's. Speaking of doctors, in Zoomington, doctors don't give out medicine. Instead, doctors have people do something silly. Why, just a month ago, Zoe went to the doctor for a slight cough, and her doctor, Dr. Flubagon, told her to hop in the grass while singing a song. Zoe went home and hopped in the grass while singing the alphabet song, and her cough flew right away. In Zoomington, even the weather people are different. That's something that I'll pause. That's something that I would like to change. I noticed the other day. Make sure it's still in my notes. There's lots of wise men, weathermen. Let's try to have different variety of people here. So maybe just weather people, or I'm going to rework that somehow. This isn't a common theme throughout the books. This is just introducing the world of Zoomington, but I did recognize I had a bunch of men, and let's maybe change that. So in Zoomington, even the weather people, whatever I might say, even the weather people are different. The weather people in Zoomington are actual psychics who watch the weather in their crystal balls. The houses in Zoomington are also quite unique. Zoomington homes are made of recycled food containers and wrappers and are very brightly colored. The residents of Zoomington come in many different shapes, colors, and sizes as well. Zoe has curly purple hair and blue skin. She lives in an orange and yellow house on 321 Quizzy Liffer Lane with her parents and twin younger brothers, Zach and Xander. Zoe's parents both have very fun jobs. Zoe's dad is a marker maker, so he always comes home a different color. Her mother is a zipper tester. She zips zippers up and down all day long. Zach and Xander seem to have the job of eating popcorn and playing hopscotch, because that's all they seem to do. Zoe's very close to her pet turtle, Slow-Mo. In Zoomington, pets can talk. Zoe and Slow-Mo love to talk and play pirate ship. They both dress up like pirates and hunt for buried treasure. Zoe's life in Zoomington is filled with fun and interesting people. So we've set the scene, introduced to this very unique world. It's not necessarily humans in Zoomington, human-esque. I want kids, people, whoever's reading it to be able to relate to it on some level, but it's definitely not Earth. One day, a big moving truck was parked in front of the house across the street from Zoe's house. Their neighbors, the Jillytoons, had moved away 3 weeks ago, and new neighbors were moving in. As is Zoomington tradition, the Mizzy Myers took chocolate pudding to their new neighbors once they had moved in. Zoe's dad rang the doorbell, and a shy girl around Zoe's age answered the door. Zoe spoke first, saying, "Hello, we're the Mizzy Myers, and my name is Zoe. This is my mom and dad and my little brothers, Xander and Zach." Zoe's mom chimed in, "We brought you and your family chocolate pudding. It's a Zoomington tradition." The shy little girl took the pudding and said, "Thank you very much. My name is Jane, and my mother and father are in the kitchen. I'll go get them." Moments later, Jane came back with her mother and father. Zoe's father shook Jane's father's hand, saying, "Nice to meet our new neighbors. We wanted to be sure to welcome you to Zoomington." Jane's father smiled. "Thank you for the pudding. We are the Buffers, and we just moved here from Dalton. Zoomington sure is a welcoming town." The Mizzy Myers and Buffers were instantly the best of friends. For the next few days, the Mizzy Myers helped the Buffers unpack and get settled. One day, Zoe invited Jane to come and play in her igloo in her backyard. Jane and Zoe pretended they were explorers searching for polar bears and penguins. After a while, they decided that being explorers made them want some frozen yogurt. Zoe and Jane were enjoying their ice-cold treats when Zoe decided to use her best newscaster voice and asked Jane, "So, Miss Jane, what is this Dalton like?" Jane giggled. "Well, it's quite different. At school, we sit at desks and teachers give quizzes and tests. The houses are made from brick or wood, so they are mostly red or dark brown." Zoe sat completely still, listening to every word. Jane continued, "And the jobs in Dalton are completely different. My mother worked in a library organizing books, and my father worked in a laboratory testing kitchen cleaners." Zoe was so surprised at how different Dalton sounded, so before she had a chance to think, she blurted out, "That sounds so strange." Zoe quickly knew she had hurt Jane's feelings because Jane's eyes filled with tears. Zoe started to apologize, but Jane quickly said, "Well, I can't wait to get back to Dalton and get away from here." Jane, who was also not thinking clearly, got up and as she was leaving said, "And Dalton is not strange, Zoomington is strange." With that said, Jane ran to her house, leaving Zoe by herself. That night, during the Mizzy Myers' weekly Wednesday sushi dinner, Zoe told her family about what happened between her and Jane. After Zoe told the story, Xander said, "Her dad works in a laboratory, like as a scientist? That is so cool." Zach added, "Yeah, Xander and I have always wanted to meet a scientist." Zoe's mom replied, "See, just because Dalton is different doesn't mean it's strange." Zoe's dad added, "I see some issues here." Zoe's dad added, "If there weren't people like Jane's mom to organize books in libraries would be a complete mess, and no one could find any books." Zoe sat quiet for a bit and then softly said, "You all are right. I just want to be friends again. I just wish there was something I could do to make up for what I said." That night, as Zoe was drifting off to sleep, a wonderful idea struck Zoe, and she sat up and yelled, "Aha!" Zoe had yelled quite loudly, causing her entire family to run into her room. Zoe had yelled because she had thought of a way to try and apologize to Jane. She shared her idea with her family, and they all agreed it was a wonderful idea. So that night, the Mizzy Myers stayed up a little later than usual to help Zoe make her surprise for Jane. The next morning, Zoe jumped out of bed and got ready as fast as she could. As soon as she got permission, Zoe went straight over to Jane's house with her surprise. Zoe rang the doorbell, and Jane's mother opened the door and smiled. "Oh, hi, Zoe. It's so nice to see you." "Hello, Mrs. Buffer," said Zoe. "I'm here with a surprise for Jane. I think I hurt her feelings yesterday, and I want to make it up to her." Mrs. Buffer smiled again and replied, "Well, I'm sure Jane will love her surprise. I will go and get her." Moments later, Jane came to the door and greeted Zoe with a quiet, "Hello." Zoe took a deep breath. "I'm so sorry for calling Dalton strange. I was very surprised to learn how different Dalton is from Zoomington. I think it's really neat that your mom worked in a library and your dad tests kitchen cleaners. Zach and Xander were so excited to learn that your dad is a scientist. Last night, with the help of my family, I made you a loaf of friendship bread to possibly make up for what I said. Also, Zach and Xander drew some pictures of Dalton and you all living there, since I know you miss it. I hope you like your surprise, and I really hope we can be friends again. Jane stood there quietly. I see the error there. Jane stood there quietly for a moment, and then a smile quickly spread across her face from ear to ear. Without saying a word, Jane gave Zoe a huge hug. Next thing they knew, they were giggling and sharing a piece of delicious friendship bread. Zoe and Jane knew this was the start of a wonderful friendship. So, as I mentioned, my background is in health and wellness, and when I started writing these, I was thinking of how I could maybe sprinkle that in. I probably had just changed my major to nutrition dietetics. So I figured setting up a world that kids were really excited about, or again, kids, adults, whatever age. I love all types of books myself. And then putting in these bookend nuggets that they can read and learn a little bit more. So this one is called Wonderful Whole Grains. Zoe made a loaf of friendship bread for Jane, and she used what's called whole wheat flour to make the bread. Did you know that you can substitute whole wheat flour for white flour when you make your favorite baked treats? Making this substitution helps you to get more of the important whole grains. Whole grain or whole wheat foods have fiber in them, which helps you to stay healthy in lots of ways. Whole grain or whole wheat foods can include bread, pasta, crackers, tortillas, oatmeal, cereal, brown rice, and more. Try to choose more whole grain, whole wheat products and enjoy them just like Zoe. So like I said, trying to inspire the readers, hopefully, parental or guardian type figures too, to choosing some of those just like their favorite character in a book. Okay, so let me see how much time has passed. Yes, it looks like it still took me around 10 or so minutes to read through that. I like to think about that as, potentially a parent is reading this to the kid. Potentially the kid is reading it themselves, how long it will take. It's about 1,300 words. And from my research, I could be wrong, but from my research, that means that's ages 6 to 10. And which is what I was thinking originally. So for this first book, my note still stands that I want to swap out the whole wise men, weathermen, put in something different there. I also, another note that I thought about, and I don't know what this looks like, but different family structures. Because right now, the two main characters is mom, dad, child or children. Mom, dad, child or children. And that's not everybody's family structure. I also like to feel somewhat authentic with how I tell the story. So I grew up, at one point, it was just me and my mom. I grew up with both parents, then divorced, then just me and my mom for a while. So that would feel natural to write about. But I definitely would like to maybe think about that so that there are different types of families. Just trying to keep diversity in mind. Okay, same two main characters, Zoe and Jane, but maybe structuring the family is a little different. Structures, that's something I'm interested in. Cutting down on some words and descriptions. So I think I noticed as I'm reading it out, especially when people are talking, I'm definitely not the grammar expert. I'm pretty good, but not an expert by any means. I can see where that editor who I sent it to, maybe she was alluding to that. But I think I would like to cut down on that. I don't know what that looks like. Yeah, I think reading through it, I went, okay, that was probably unnecessary to say that as well. Which also leads me to think maybe there's some kind of free, I have a research note. So research free editing services, perhaps. I don't know. And as far as the look of characters, I mean, human-ish, open to, they can look different ways. They're all different colors, sizes, shapes. And I do know as far as illustrations, like I said, sometimes that just is what the publisher prefers as far as illustrations. But it'd be nice to maybe have an idea, or maybe I go the route of publishing it myself. Maybe I go the route of making this into like a YouTube video or something, and I put in illustrations that way. I am relatively good at art. I think it'd be fun to, I'm going to research cartoon, what's a way to say this? Cartoon drawing help. I don't know. I'm pretty good at cartoon type drawings. I'm not good at like real stuff unless I have a lot of guidance. Cartoon I'm better at. I'm very good at copying. So if there is a cartoon picture, that's something I can do. But coming up with it is not my forte. So look at the characters, human-ish, all different shapes, sizes, colors, and if they're human-ish, human-esque, I want to keep in mind diversity too, much like some worlds I've seen nowadays where, as far as a facial structure goes, diversity. So it's not all one type of ethnic background. Lots of different backgrounds if we're going to go human-ish. But I really love the overall world of Zoomington. I think it's fun. It's just very colorful and quirky. And then I think I mentioned already, 6 different books that I've written, and each has some sort of underlying theme, and each has a bookend where I talk about perhaps a balanced meal. So I think the next one was about balance in life. I can pull it up, actually, and go through. I won't show it just because. Beep, beep. And I need to change the view so that I can see it more. Yes, so the next one is all about using your imagination. Basically, I think Zoe's brothers, Zach and Xander, get really into their video games, and then Jane and Zoe were also getting into the video games. And then one of the lines is, not one of them had even thought of going outside and enjoying the nice weather, painting a picture. All any of them could think about was the video game. And who among us has not gotten sucked into a video game or technology in one way or the other? So basically, power goes out, and then they go, what are we going to do? And then they decide to do some art, make it into a game, and then they realized, oh my gosh, we haven't been using our imaginations. So basically, the bookend information is about balance in life, doing a variety of activities. If it's all work and no play, that's no fun. If it's all play and no work, nothing would get done. And then also when you eat, trying to have a balance with your meals. So just keeping that in mind. The next one is Halloween. I did keep in Halloween because I do love that. I love all holidays for the most part. But I did do Halloween for them. And they get real creative and do lots of different costumes. And then the information, the health wellness information, is just about Halloween treats with a twist. Say that a lot of times fast. Like maybe a blueberry smoothie or things like that. Just maybe some different treats. And then the next one is also about holidays, but I decided instead of Christmas, I just made up holidays. So I came up with the holiday Quintaloo's Eve, and then that's what Zoe and family celebrate, and then Jane and family celebrate the Festival of Beneville. And then they learn about each other's traditions and have fun with that. And then the bookend information is about healthier holidays, and then how you can make maybe a soup or a salad for a holiday gathering. And then the Festival of Benevol is about taking time to volunteer, so maybe you could do that during the holiday season. And then I did another one. This is something I'm really big into, is recycling and just keeping our earth clean. So in this one, it's all about that. And I will be reading through each of these books over the next few weeks. So it's been a while since I've written these, so I kind of don't remember some of these things, but I know I tried to keep all of them topics that I really enjoy, and that's how I've gone about a lot of things. At my full-time job, I try to do things I enjoy. So then I think, okay, I think others will probably enjoy it too, because I put my enjoyment into it. Anyways, so yes, I did one about another topic I'm into, and because it was about parks, but the bookend information is about packing a perfect picnic and how to have maybe a healthier picnic, and also food safety. And then let's join the band. That's another thing that I'm very much into. You can see a trombone right here, my husband. I played the clarinet. So Zoe tries out for the band. Trombonets, which is trombone / clarinet, super clever. And then Jane plays the tubiano. It's a tuba and a piano. I don't know how I'll say that, but I'll figure it out. And then they go to auditions. Basically, Zoe gets flustered, and doesn't make it. And then I think she waits to audition again, I do believe. Again, I will be reading through all of these, getting back to them. And the lesson in that is try again. Also with your food, it can take us up to 10 to 15 times to determine if we actually like a food, or just maybe prepare it in a different way. So that's the nutrition in there. I already see I have the ideas for doing a birthday. I love birthdays, so we'll do some sort of birthday for Zoe. And then like I said, I'm going to put this idea, this is way down the road, but probably one on anxiety and or mindfulness. And I'll keep thinking. Well, this has been my official longest stream ever. I finally remembered to record, so that's really exciting. If you're watching this later, thank you. You're more than welcome to join at any point and let me know any thoughts that you might have. I'm open to thoughts. Like I said, I need the help. I have submitted my books to a variety of publishers. I have other books not in the Zoe's Life in Zoomington series, and those are much shorter. They're not a full series, and but I've definitely tried and put it out there in different ways. I have gotten a couple of people responding that they're going to look, and then they do, and then now this isn't Zoe's series, but other ones that they're just, no, thank you, not at this time. So definitely, I have been trying that. I've looked into self-publishing. I've looked into those sort of things, but like I said, I want to focus right now on Zoe's Life in Zoomington, this series, because I do have so much time and work put into this series. I think I see things now that I wouldn't have thought of in college, and life experience since then, where I go, okay, let's change this up a little bit. But I think the just overall world and characters I still am passionate about making this a very imaginative, fun world with some lessons sprinkled in there. Easy read, It's not super hard or super serious. It's just easy, fun read, and hopefully kids will, and adults alike, all will like it. Well, I think that will be it for today. This has been really good for me to go through these and think through all of this. It's very helpful for my brain. Taking notes. And that's about it for today. Thanks for watching.